At night, I guess my biggest thought is about pollution. What happens if we don't reduce the amount of pollution that is happening across our world? Like, what does that really look like? So, when I think about not resting well, I often think about if we don't put an end to this pollution problem or air quality. This has probably been one of the most significant years on record for North Carolina with pollen. And it's a struggle for people to just breathe and kids to go outside without the need of an inhaler. So, air quality and pollution are really the environmental issues that I put a lot of thought into and make me restless.
I think the environmental issue that keeps me up at night and during the day mostly is water. We can't live without clean water, and I don't think there's enough of an emphasis on what we need to do to keep our water clean, particularly our drinking supply of water. There's so much water pollution, so much plastic trash in our streams, our rivers, and certainly in the oceans. That's important. But just water resources in general, American understands how critical it is for us to have clean water. So that I'm thinking about it all day, every day.
Literally, what keeps me up at night is the environmental challenges of being Black in America. But also, figuratively, there's some things that keep me up at night. The multi-intergenerational trauma that comes from being Black outside. I look at so many of my ancestors and those that came before me and recognize the very real trauma that they had in being outside, whether that was working the land, whether that was trauma related to the water, trauma related to the woods. And as a result, we don't have a lot of Black environmentalists, just because what it means to be Black outside is a challenge.
That question I had to ponder on a bit because I honestly don't believe as individuals we can do a lot to combat this climate crisis. We do need to think about what we can do collectively and focus on family and community. So maybe even with gathering your neighbors and friends to start having shared spaces of community gardens and green spaces. I think we should lean more from thinking individualistically to holistically about what we can do to save, protect, and help our families and communities.
I am so glad you asked that question. The small acts that we can take to protect our planet is to read books about the environment and environmentalists. And I am talking about books that are very exciting, about exciting people like Rodney Stotts, who is nicknamed Bird Brother, and George Washington Carver, who was way ahead of his time. And then we have the Planet Walker, John Francis, and Wangari Maathai from Kenya, who planted millions of trees with the women in her community. So the final book I want to reference is a book I wrote called Say Their Names, about the 7-year-old's journey to respond to the George Floyd murder and protests. Yes, it's about Black Lives Matter. It's also about us being one with the environment and our need to protect all living things.
Oh, there's so many acts that we can take to protect our planet. One of the things, my big thing is food and water. Thinking about where your food comes from as well as where your food goes. That would include planting seeds. In the words of Ron Finley, grow some shit. Really to be involved in your local food system. And what does that mean? Again, whether that's growing, whether that's harvesting, being on, or even things that's like composting in your house, composting in your community is a huge act that can go a long way in terms of protecting our planet and protecting our environment. My favorite thing, go hug a tree. Like, I love it. Like, just go hug a tree. What it means to be outside and be grounded, I think you'll have a different relationship. It's a reciprocal relationship. Go hug a tree. I think that everything will change.
My gift to Earth would be real renewables. Renewables that make a difference, that make an impact, that work on cloudy days, windless days, and they don't leave a trace of residue.
And if I could leave a gift to the earth, it would be 1 million more young stewards of the planet. I spend my life working with young people on literature, literacy, and the environment. And I see how excited they are, how motivated they are about protecting nature and understanding their oneness with nature when we work together. And so I'm on a mission to grow as many nature stewards as possible. And if I could get to 1 million with the help of everybody listening here, that I would consider that a great gift.
So I'd say the gift that I'll leave behind would be definitely my children, my son, my 2 daughters, as along with the other seeds that I'm planting in so many different spaces as I continue to go and grow and blow up.